What is up, everyone? Sleep deprived Zol here. Today, we are going to be jumping in with a roundup of what Bungie had previewed for Year 5 of Destiny 2. We learned a lot about the Witch Queen, but there are probably a lot of handful of changes that either we forgot about or never heard about. I'm going to focus on the changes like adjustments to exotic weapons and activities, but we are also going to take a bigger look at stuff to come like the launch of Season 16, weekly raid rotations, new PvP maps, game modes, even Gambit updates, vendor changes, and more. I feel like you guys would appreciate this type of video. If you guys like this video, please click the follow button and subscribe. But let's get into this. Bungie had previously spoken about wanting legendary weapons to have more based on their source and expect to ship a new system for this in or close to Witch Queen. Weapon Differation. If I have 2 void adaptive hand cannons, one from the Suros Foundry and one from the latest raid, why do I care about one more than the other? The stats tend to be close. Perk pools can be different, but there are only so many perks. And it's a stretch to say the perk pool gives the weapon its identity. We got something shipping on all new and reissued weapons in the Witch Queen that addresses this issue directly and are working to expand the same solution to all weapons that drop in the future. This sounds reasonably big change to weapon identity, but how Bungie delivers this, we'll have to wait for more information. Bungie also said that for the exotic in Season 15, we tweaked exotic primary weapons to generate ammo faster than ammo finder mods, and we have another change planned to make them more enticing in hard PvE content. And this week at Bungie announced that they were removing Orbs Generation for Masterwork weapons, but instead of weapons generating orbs will be done by a way of new helmet mods, which would add to weapons a particular element. So to reduce orbs on multi-kills with an arc weapon, for example, we'll have to use the arc or mod slotted into our helmet. And this has seen some negative feedback, because of course you have to use mod slots to generate orbs and possibly need multiple mod slots if you run different archetypes of weapons or to change mods regularly depending on which weapons you are using. So this may get annoying. Please let me know your thoughts on this down below. But Bungie also are adjusting some exotics that consistently top the PvP usage charts in a good way. Some exotics had their perks limited to a degree that are no longer useful. And Bungie also says they're looking at you, Chaperone. So we'll need more specific details on these weapons, both across legendary and exotics. There are going to be some pretty big changes to how the weapon perks act, so hopefully both improving the identity of the guns and the desire to use the weapons. So again, we'll have to wait for the TWAB where they discuss these changes. But another thing to add is that while we currently have full auto retrofit mod that allows us to have full auto on hand cannons, sidearms, scout rifle, and pulse rifles, Bungie says they'll have a setting option and development for a season after Witch Queen. So eventually we'll be able to use these weapons without using the mod. And the final couple of tuning, which will be going to affect us in Year 5, but starting In Season 16, Seasonal Artifact will be completely unlocked. That technically we'll be able to unlock all 25 artifact mods by the end of the season. However, after unlocking the 12th mod, a lot more XP will be required to unlock the next mod slot. So this will be a grind, but this does open up these opportunities. Finally, for Masterwork Armor, Bungie says we'll be able to change the energy type of a fully Masterwork Armor for a much reduced cost, which is 10,000 Glimmer and 1 upgrade module. But an exotic can be changed for 20,000 Glimmer and 1 upgrade module, but will still be given that full flexibility on armor elements going forward. If we get any more updates on this, I will make another video. Now let's speak about the launch of Season 16. But usually when we get an expansion, there's an expansion content, and then we also get the content for the season that launches with the expansion. Usually there is a bit of a delay before the season content becomes available, but Joe Blackbird said in an interview, Season 16 is going to be the next big bowling point for us. We had some trouble with some of these seasons that come out with an expansion, so we put a lot of thought and effort into how we want to do this better this time around. We know that it can feel tough for seasons to matter when it comes out after a week after the launch, and players already have access to raid weapons and pinnacle gear. So Joe Blackburns says we already excited to get Season 16 out day and date with Witch Queen this time, and to have a lot of stuff for players to do and engage with, and really see the value immediately, not only to give you Guardians stuff to do while you are leveling, but to give your stuff while you're prepping for some of those end game activities. That confirms it. Witch Queen and Season 16 content were released together. This will make February 22nd a busy day, and he adds the team has been happy with Seasons 13, 14, and 15 in terms of their rewards and stories. But he also says we're doing a bit of robbing from the season to pay for things like raids, and I think players could still feel that Season 14 is awesome, but he gives you the example of Vault of Glass being part of the designated content for Season 14, meeting the exotics for the season ended up in the raid, and perhaps it closed opportunities to do like other things like exotic quests. So we're really trying to make sure as we go into 4 pieces of the raid and dungeon content a year that the seasons are still fully funded, and those dungeons and those raids feel like icing on the cake. Not only are we taking something out of the pie, which should result in more content being featured in each of the seasons next year. Now to speak about some of the content, and Bungie had clarified that we're also going to see 2 brand new dungeons launch into the game during Year 5. Bungie also confirmed if you get the Deluxe Edition, you are going to receive the expansion, all 4 seasons, and access to the dungeons. But if you get the Standard Edition, you can still upgrade to the Deluxe Edition later. We will also be offering a separate way for you to purchase the dungeons in the future, but they won't be included in the season passes. We'll share more info on this closer to when the content is set to go live, but there's a lot of feedback from the community about that. So give me your thoughts in the comments down below. We'll also get access to 2 new raids in Year 5. The first one is the Witch Queen raid, and the second one will be a reprised one from Destiny 1. And when they asked Joe Blackburn for a hint, he said by saying it will be one of the biggest raids that takes one up, and that takes one out of the question. Pretty much confirms that we won't see Crota's End in Year 5. So the candidates for the raid are Wrath of the Machine and King's Fall. But naturally, with the Hive content focus, It's most likely they decided to go with King's Fall for year 5. But Bungie are also planning on adding a future raid rotation at some point in year 5 too. Joe Blackburn said we're trying to create a situation where a back catalog of raids and experiences that people love and want to play feel like they get their time in the sun. We also don't want it to feel like every raid and every dungeon is always on all the time, so we can make the game chore list for the game too significant. We also seen this previously, seen raid rotation like this, like the one we got in Age of Triumph, which also came with additional rewards like the armor glows and stuff like that. But Joe Blackburn says that there's a lot here already. We're probably excited to talk about this in the futures as things get hardened up. However, the raid rotation is a thing that Bungie are going to implement, and they're currently considering different ways to reward those, but it should make the weekly rotation and also endgame a bit more interesting. Then we got PvP updates, and Bungie has given us some for year 5. So Jack Blackburn said that the plan for season 16 is support 2 vaulted Destiny 2 maps to be compatible with our engine updates. And so along Witch Queen, we should see 2 maps from Destiny 2 that are currently not in rotation. Then he said after that, reprise maps in season 16 and 17 will come with a brand new map. There's a bunch of new environments in Destiny 2, and we're excited to start bringing into the Crucible. He says finally after those 3 maps are added into season 16 and 17, we'll begin mastering a Destiny 1 map and bringing it into Destiny 2 for the first time in season 18. All of this effort is going to be done in parallel with the team looking to fund the far future with a predictable roadmap of maps and Nightfall and beyond. Then he goes on to say that the team is investigating getting Rift in Destiny 2 next year. It's been too long since we've dunked on some Guardians. The Destiny sideback has sped up in Destiny 2, so right now the team is validating that the mode still holds up with our new gameplay. Next, he says that is still working on brand new modes. They are still working on brand new modes for 2022. That they are not ready to spoil these yet, but we're excited to offer new twists and rules to the ways you can make Shaxx proud. So it's been a while since we got some huge number of PvP updates. It does look like in year 5 we're going to see some Crucible get a little bit more love. And since that time, DMG has confirmed that Bungie are looking at Gambit Updates for year 5. We're going to start to see the Crucible get a bit more love. Basically, they're going to look at it, Gambit during the year Witch Queen, and understand the frustration of players on the lack of updates. But as I was saying, for the Gambit changes, they want to change it like Trials Labs and keep trying out and use what they learned to give swifter updates and more regular content to other modes like Gambit. On top of this, they're talking about an Iron Banner rework to make them look like other vendor for Crucible and Vanguard, even other stuff. No info has been just given yet, but it's on the cards possibly for year 5. Then we talk about weapon crafting, how they're gonna make it. There were some questions. There will be a way to pick off the weapon rolls we don't like, which is really good to know. Bungie said that they were adding other weapons to the thing over the year. Is going to spoil RG weapon rolls to the extent the Tangle Shore is going to be going away, as well as that. I'll put the full link to the article down below. And then we got void changes. I wanted to take a couple minutes to actually go over this. They're basically changing it to be allied. There'll be three. The normal stuff would be suppression, where the target is knocked out of any active, as well as AI combatants can't shoot their weapons. They can't use their supers. They have decreased accuracy, the AI. Volatile is afflicted with unstable void energy, and then will die. Void Overshield, we'll get a Void Overshield. It's a little bit different one. The second one is invisibility. We vanish and do not appear on enemy thing. And then Devour kills restore you to full health, grenade and extend Devour. So pretty kind of okay right now. Talking about True Sight, I'll link the full article to that. So I'm really excited for the void changes. I know I'm gonna put the screenshots up, so I want to take a couple minutes to talk about this. I'm really looking forward to this. I recorded this after, so I made all the clips. I like the gameplay, blending the trailers in the background. And then I'm gonna just put all the screenshots. I was using it as a format, but I wanted to actually get this out tonight, and it's getting really late. And I was gonna finish this tonight, but we also have some big news. I think I'm gonna I gotta work on the TWAB, which is gonna be a little different. The TWAB for January 20th, 2022. I'm gonna redo the TWAB. I'm gonna do the TWAB video. It's not gonna be in this format. This one took a little longer. I'm sorry for the long video and me stopping and me missing some pronouncing stuff wrong. I was just trying to do this later on, make sure I get all the wording. It's hard to read off a script. I'm not used to it, so that's why I kind of just summarized for the last little bit of this video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna let the gameplay roll out with the screenshots, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Please feel free to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching.